All this gambling stuff. All this gambling stuff. Okay. All right. OpenAI has hit the code red button. Among Us alarm bell, dude. Everyone needs to get in. We got to vote. OpenAI code red. They're worried. They're stressed. And it's kind of funny. And this comes from The Information, which, by the way, has been on fire the last half of this year. One of the best sources I've been reading, The Information. They found leaked internal memos from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman saying, okay, we're about to have a rough couple months up ahead. We need a code red to combat the dual threats to ChatGPT. They're getting attacked from two sides. Okay, so you got in the middle, you got OpenAI. Oh, get a little OpenAI. Okay, on the business side, like the high-end business clients, they're getting attacked by Claude and Anthropic. Spelled it wrong. Claude. If you are in chat and you're a programmer or a coder, you probably use this. And your business is probably buying this and not this for corporate clients. Claude is attacking the high-end business clients of OpenAI. That's where a lot of the money is made. And OpenAI needs money badly. On the, totally free user or business that wants to build like a ChatGPT wrapper type thing, like a AI boyfriend or whatever, they're getting attacked by DeepSeek and a lot of Chinese models. Kimi. DeepSeek. Kimi. Let's just say China. Okay? China. That's attacking OpenAI on the low end. These are all open source. Basically, OpenAI will come out with something, and then 6 months later, that same thing will be out in China, open source, and way cheaper. Okay? So, they're not caught up to OpenAI, but they're, as good as it was not that long ago, and people can just download them, run them locally, or do whatever, and it's way cheaper than running it through OpenAI. So, that's being attacked. And then finally, those things were bad. They were losing both of these, or these both were, competitive threats. But OpenAI always had, the average consumer. They had the person that wants to cheat on their schoolwork. They had your grandma, your mom or dad are like, hey, the only AI they know is ChatGPT. Your friend that wants to write a wedding speech. Or the person responding to your text with a lot of fucking hyphens. That stuff, that has been OpenAI's game. They've had 85% market share. And then finally, Google Gemini. And now they're being crushed, constrained from all three directions. And OpenAI, rather than focus on any one of these areas and be really good at it, they've been floundering. I'll have to add an L. Google. Okay? Goog. They've been floundering and trying a bunch of random new shit like a browser. They did the AI browser. They tried to get into social media by making Sora, which has been, we can just say it, pretty much a flop, bro. Sora, people just make a few things on Sora, rip them, and put them on other platforms. Nobody's hanging out on Sora. Sora is not turned into a monetizable social media platform. It's just like a generator for memes for other platforms. So all this shit is kind of failing, and they're losing ground in all the actual areas. And so they finally realized, wait a minute, this is fucking scary. Google Gemini was the last straw. And look at this. So FT covered the information piece, but they added this. Gemini app downloads are catching up to ChatGPT's. This is a huge gap gain. And then if you pull up the LLM leaderboard, LM Arena, you've got Gemini leading or right behind Claude and web dev, first in vision, first in text to image, first in image edit, first in search, first in text to video, first in image to video. So Gemini is kind of crushing. And it's crazy because if you flash back on my own channel, 3 years or 2 years, I don't know, 2023 or 2, I said this. Google, particularly, let's talk about them, is freaking out. ChatGPT had Google call a code red, which Google was calling the code red. No, it's not a parade truck. This is just 3 years ago. Google was like, holy fuck, we're screwed, code red. ChatGPT's eating our lunch. And now, 3 years later, it's OpenAI doing code red because they've caught up. Like their lead has evaporated. So got them their best strike force to figure out what the they're gonna do about ChatGPT because Google has sat on their ass for a very long time. But for the first time ever, there's finally a challenger to Google's domination of search. People may, go to ChatGPT. What's interesting is the co-founder of Google, Sergey Brin, came back and led this strike force personally, and apparently was a key individual involved with like cutting through the red tape and getting them to actually build. And now they're hyper competitive again. Now OpenAI is on the back foot. So here's some quotes though from this leaked email. So Sam Altman says Google's resurgence could cause, quote, temporary economic headwinds for OpenAI, which basically, it's like a really fancy way of saying we're going to make less money. This could really hurt our ability to make money. Now, what's interesting is that Google this whole time is printing money. They make money hand over fist, but OpenAI loses money, and they need to make a lot of money soon to pay for the 1.5 trillion in promises they've made over the next few years to build AI data centers. So, this will impact OpenAI's ability to raise another 100 billion or so to weather the significant cash burn the company has projected. It burns tens of billions of dollars to develop new technologies, and they have many more promised. So the CFO alluded to a slowdown in ChatGPT growth. It's a little spooky for them. We're at a critical time for ChatGPT. I think they also said they're going to have we'll see if they can make anything with this. They said they're going to have a daily call with all their top employees to really crack heads on this. And hopefully they're going to try to get into search, I guess is the idea, or sell ads. It all sounds fucking crazy. This was also wild. Mark Benioff, who's the head of Salesforce. I don't know if he's partnered with Google, but he was like, holy shit, I've used ChatGPT every day for 3 years. Just spent 2 hours on Gemini 3. I'm not going back. The leap is insane. Reasoning, speed, images, video, everything is sharper and faster. It feels like the world just changed again. The glaze is insane. But I will say, I've used both the paid ChatGPT and the paid Gemini. And what I will tell you is, in my experience, I didn't see a difference. And the paid Gemini is way cheaper. way, 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 way cheaper. So, I do see, it seems like a big fucking threat to ChatGPT. It seems like a big threat. I can see why they'd be scared. Gemini has a better data set. Well, that's another thing is so it's becoming more obvious, I think because of the DeepSeek stuff, that the only real advantage that you have as a model is the data you train on. And even that's not much because we've already mentioned this on stream, but okay, let's say you're OpenAI, right? And you pay $1 billion for the greatest data set ever of, I don't know. You're making a Age of Empires playing AI and you buy Hera's personal replays to train on. Well, then once you've made it, another model can just train itself on your answers. It can just ask you questions, get the answer, and do that 1 million times until it's trained. So all the open source models can just use whatever you've learned to become a free version 6 months later. So, the lead here is hard to see, but if there is a data advantage, it goes to Google, because Google owns YouTube and search and all the best data of like digital advertising. So there's no, OpenAI doesn't own any of that. I don't think, by the way, people are saying Grok. I've seen no evidence that Grok is getting any market share anywhere. As far as I know, all Grok does is get Elon Musk to tweet about it. I mean, there's people using it on Twitter, obviously. At Grok, is this true? But it's not. Twitter is still losing money. It's just they got bailed out by being bought by XAI, which also needs to be bailed out with more investor funds. I've seen no evidence that Grok is monetizing well or doing anything. I don't think it's in the competition with ChatGPT and with Gemini. So I don't know. Just interesting update from OpenAI. We can watch this.
From Sam Altman last night.
Yeah. So in this memo that we were able to write about, essentially Sam declared what he calls a code red. So he told employees that he wants them to prioritize improving ChatGPT as OpenAI faces more competition from rivals like Google. So what that kind of consists of are things like improving model behavior, personalization, image generation, speed, reliability. And to do all those things, he did admit that the company will have to deprioritize some other work streams. So this includes advertisements and AI agents. And I think what really stood out here is that this is actually one of the first times that the company has even acknowledged wanting to do ads in ChatGPT, which has been quite a controversial topic. And then, of course, to kind of put all this in context, this all comes weeks after we've seen new models from competitors like Google and Anthropic that have actually outperformed OpenAI's models in certain areas.
Right. Now, it's the first time that they've acknowledged the ads effort, but it's not the first time, at least in recent weeks, that we've heard from OpenAI executives about the threats that these companies face and the fact that the company might be slowing down in some ways, right?
Yeah. So, in another story,
it's just wild because them slowing down is not. It's not an option. They need like hockey stick level growth. It needs to be going like this to make up for and this is like revenue growth, to make up for all the promises. That's what they've been telling everybody. They're saying the revenue's about to ramp up. They can't be like, I mean, they don't even make any money, but let's assume it's just revenue. They can't be tapering off while they figure it out, dude. The promises are up here. This is what you owe. OpenAI is the weakest link of the AI bubble, easily. And that's why they keep talking about the government bailout. They keep hinting towards it.
That my colleague Aaron and I wrote about, I think last week. We did write that, like you said, this isn't the first time Sam Altman has kind of acknowledged the rising competition in the AI industry. Last month, in the kind of weeks leading up to Google releasing Gemini 3, he also released a memo within the company kind of acknowledging like, hey, there's this really good new model coming out from Google soon, but we believe that we're making bets that are going to help us win in the long run. So
right. He said the vibes were going to be rough, right? I mean, that's what he said.
Yeah,
I think Steph, and by the way, Steph, great stories, great scoops, kept me up late reading last night. But what a shift, right? I mean, when that first memo came out, the memo was stay the course, troops.
Sorry to switch to a different topic real quick, but you might not have seen this story. It's another NVIDIA giving $2 billion to a company that buys NVIDIA chips. By the way, this happens every 3 weeks now, so I don't even cover them anymore. But Synopsys, just another fucking company you haven't heard of. Like, this is happening all the time now. There's another small company, they give them a couple billion and they buy data center chips.
Now, the memo was stay the course, troops. we have so many hard things to do, but stay focused. And now Code Red. And I think, what's fascinating to me is, I mean, yes, the competition is intensifying, but there seems to be this sort of like messianic quest for one-upping each other on models in product, which I actually think is more important. But this idea, we're caught into this race that OpenAI and others are kind of pulling us into, when it also seems to me that all the models are getting better and they're all going to get really good. And maybe we should be focused more on how people are using these products and the engagement behavior. So I was really struck by that, and just a broader theme I've been thinking about. For this whole 2025, we've been talking about the AI war and OpenAI.
I mean, they're primarily using it to cheat on schoolwork. That's the number one use case still, and they've gotten insane at that. Man, the ability to just like, I know Gemini can do this. The ability to just use like screen snap, answer the question. I think Google Gemini with Nano Banana can, yeah, look at this. Wait, I need a better photo. Look at this, dude. This is AI image generated. As in, you can write the problem in your own handwriting and it will solve it for you step by step in your handwriting. It's cooked. Students are going to learn nothing and have AI do their homework. Like, he's talking about like it's in the far off future. This is happening right now. This is happening right now. Most students I know use AI to understand and get answers rather than just straight up copying it. You might know the nicer students. I don't think that's the spread. That sounds like copium, bro. That sounds like copium. I'm not sure. I'm sure some people do. I'm no doubt. But, I have friends who are teachers. I got two friends who are teachers in Arizona, and what they tell me is that it's cooked, bro. It's just cooked. People are cheating on everything. What do you think about Gemini training on YouTube videos? Could that mean we get AI track 500 years in the future? I mean, maybe. Yeah. I took every shortcut in high school, and this had been around, I would have used the fuck out of it. Yeah, if this had existed when I was a League of Legends addict in college, I wouldn't have learned a single damn thing. And I barely learned a damn thing as it is. But I would have cheated on everything. I would have cheated on everything, bro. So it's like, this system isn't designed for this level of tech. This tech breaks the school system. I feel like you can't cheat regarding languages. You actually need to speak it. I mean, for real world use cases, yeah, all this cheating won't help, of course. But the way school is set up is like, a lot of it's based on grades, on assignments, on homework, on writing things. And if you can cheat on that and get the points, you can often skate through without having ever learned anything. And then you can even graduate without having learned anything. That's the idea. You can't cheat in-person finals. First of all, a lot of people do. I don't know how to break this to you. People use their phone to cheat because now you can snapshot it and it gives you the answer. So people are cheating on that. But kids be getting caught in your class. It's it's a good point though. Listen, it is a great tool to learn. It really is. Using ChatGPT and now Gemini, I've tried both, to quiz myself on something is like a really good way to get me to remember it and actually understand it. Because that's how brains work. You need like the tension of trying to solve it. You can't just ingest the information. You have to like stress test it, and then it actually gets locked into your brain. And it's awesome. It's great. It's like a really useful thing that didn't exist before. But that's like a tiny percent of how it's used, I think. They figured out in-person tests already? Dude, what is this? It doesn't link my address or anything, right? Let me see. This is a AI 84 calculator, ChatGPT, ultimate cheating calculator? Oh, that's so cooked. That's so fucking cooked. That's so fucking cooked. That's so crazy. God, it sounds like it seems like kind of a pain in the ass, though. I'll be honest with you, having to typing the whole fucking question out like this and then having to read it on this type of format. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, I remember when you could download games on them. You could play Stickman or whatever. That was the big innovation when I was in high school, dude. You could play Stickman on Blockman. It was Blockman. Block Dude. It was Block Dude, right? Block Dude on TI-84. Block Dude TI-84. Dude, this shit was my jam. This was my jam, dude. Block Dude? This shit was crazy. I played this through so many classes. TI-84 been doing the same thing for 30 years and it's more expensive? Fucking true. Yeah, they haven't changed it. Not one bit, really. That's a business model right there. Damn, Block Dude. What a fire memory that is. Get Lena Khan on their ass? Lena Khan got fired. I don't know how to tell you this. Lena Khan got fired. She doesn't have the authority to crack down on Texas Instruments.
AI and Altman have kind of been the ones stoking it. And then you kind of Gemini rolling out with some cool features and products. They kind of haven't been sucked in the same way, and they're getting inroads with consumers. So I kind of wonder, and Steph, your thoughts, like, is this war mentality really, like, why do you think so many leaders are turning to that in AI in this moment?
Yeah, I
Steph,
mean,
what do you think?
as you mentioned, it is very much like
just
this
jumped
kind
in.
of back and forth where, every couple of weeks you see a lab release a new model, then the next week another lab releases a model that they say is slightly better. So it does kind of feel like we're stuck in this like loop of just slightly improving models versus as you're kind of saying, thinking about the actual products that are being built on them and whether those are actually useful and people are, using those products.
I mean, they're very useful for cheating on homework. That's what we found. Cheating on homework, people that are too lazy to write wedding vows or, dude, did you see the thing? Wait, okay, I'll kind of end on this. This was so sad. It was not end the stream, just end this segment. I want to watch the Nikki Jakey. This was a Reddit post, our relationship advice. He wrote, I, 35 male, was caught using AI to write wedding vows, and my partner, 34 female, walked out. What to do? The problem arose when it came to writing my vows. Don't get me wrong, I love many things about my partner, but I couldn't figure out how to put them into tangible vows. I decided to use ChatGPT so I can have something well written and expressive to share at the ceremony. The thing about my partner is she's very confrontational and no nonsense. If something annoys her, she immediately addresses it with no room for backing out. I also know she's expressed a disdain for AI in the past, but I didn't realize how far the hatred could go. I don't know how, but she immediately recognized the vows were AI. After I finished, she had this angry look and whispered to me, "Did you use fucking AI to write that?" Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God, dude. I was quiet because I couldn't believe she had noticed that and she was choosing to address it while we were on full display for everyone. She then said I either speak from the heart or she walks out. I couldn't get any words out and she kept her promise and walked back down the aisle, much to all our friends and family's confusion. She's been ghosting, and then they had a follow-up, and apparently they're just not together. I generated the post. I mean, maybe this doesn't read like ChatGPT, but is it supposed to even real? I mean, you can never know, right? But this could have happened because I was at a wedding where a maid of honor wrote her vows with AI. 100%. 100% this happened. So this is not an unrealistic story. This is a very normal story. People are saying fake like this doesn't happen. Of course this has happened. This has absolutely happened. I would bet $1 million that someone has written their wedding vows with AI. Of course. If he's willing to use AI for this, then why would he use AI to write the post? Yeah, he might have. I'm just saying this doesn't read like ChatGPT, the way the vows would obviously do. I wish they had the vows, though. It'd be fun to read them. I wish they had the vows. Absolutely. Here are wedding vows which express your true and heartfelt feelings for your partner. As a large language model, I am not able to write wedding vows about a person I've never met. It's embarrassing when someone gives a speech, you can immediately clock it's AI. Yeah, it is. And it's happened to me a couple times now that I've heard it. You can just tell. This is not just a wedding, it's a lifetime commitment. Holy fuck. There's a lot of people that use them on dating apps, and I can't tell if I'm dating her or the AI. Yeah, I can imagine. My cousin used AI to write a speech at our great grandma's funeral and kept getting praised for how good this speech was. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, dude. There's an update post. Yeah, this is the update. This is what I'm talking about. 25 days ago, the guy had an update, and he said she found out about the Reddit post and said she was even more angry for posting our business online. He tried to give her snacks and flowers, and she didn't give him another chance, and now that's it. They're not happening. Feel free to rub salt in the room. I'm not coming back to this account. R.I.P. R.I.P. People are saying no way this story is real. What gives you that confidence? Do you think that no one's done this in the world? People have absolutely done this. I'm not saying I know whether it's real or not. I'm just saying you have no more knowledge than anyone else. You have no more knowledge. And you are acting like this wouldn't happen, but this would absolutely happen. People are cheating people are literally using it for breakup texts. They're using it for counseling. They're using it for friends asking for help. They're using it for graduation speeches. They're using for the... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a totally realistic thing that would happen. I have a good strategy when I want to ghost a girl without saying it. I just start talking like obvious ChatGPT, and they always get mad and stop talking. That's even worse than ghosting. What a stupid strategy. just ghost. What the? That's not just nice. That's At my wedding, my wife's sibling wrote a speech, then fed it into AI with the prompt to replace all words with a fancier word. Then they had to read this word vomit, and it was so cringe, especially because my groomsman wrote a good speech. Dude, okay, here's another thing I want to say, though. It's possible that your wife's sibling did do this. But here's what I am hearing. A lot of people have been using the excuse, I wrote my thoughts and I had ChatGPT polish it up. That's what people have been saying. And that's not true. I know what you did. You barely wrote shit and ChatGPT wrote the whole fucking thing. I know what happened. I'm sick of this. This is coming up a lot. People are like, well, no, it's really my words. I just had it. And it's like, no, dude. I know what's going on. We all know what's going on. It's a fucking prompt. Prompt of whatever. Okay, tighten it up. Okay, change this. Okay, yeah, it's vibe written. It's like a linguistic fantasy we're putting over the top of actually writing. Maybe they were I prompt engineered it. Yeah. I have to go through and dumb down what group project members write. Dude, I mean, so, you know, I'm addicted to reading our teachers. I don't know why. But the number one method they have discovered to make a student admit that they cheated is to ask them to read what they wrote and explain it. just literally ask them what this means, what the words they wrote mean. And they can't do it. They have no idea. And then they often drop the fucking, well, I had ChatGPT polish it, but it's my, and that's, it's just been solved. This has been figured out. It's such an obvious, Is it bad though? Like if you're bad at writing but want to break up with someone, then let them down easy. I couldn't put the words together to express my feelings and intentions, so I use ChatGPT. I think it is bad because I think, especially if the person recognizes what you're doing, it's horrible. That alone is horrible because to them, it's like the ultimate insult that you couldn't write from the heart, even if it was worse. Do you know what I'm saying? But the struggle in that situation, again, if you're generating like if it's like boilerplate documentation copy or something, There's examples where ChatGPT doesn't need the writing doesn't need the human spirit. And ChatGPT can, dude, I saw the greatest example of how AI is going to fucking make an impact in the workplace straight up. I wish I had I don't know if I have it on me. Some dude fed an entire like 700-page Excel document into AI, and they had to reformat it for new, I don't know, like GDPR regulations or whatever. It analyzed it all, then asked the right questions on what things he wanted to pick, then it output it in the format he needed, and then he, an expert, checked it, and it was good. That was crazy. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is very, very useful. That is going to change the way certain jobs work, undoubtedly, because it literally is 1,000 times quicker than a team of using. Okay, I don't doubt that. I'm not fucking crazy. Of course that's better. But if you're writing a breakup text to someone that's important to you, the thing you need is not the most eloquent, verbose paragraph. What you need is to say something real, something that means something. And the struggle to do that is important. Even if you fuck this one up and they don't like it, you'll learn from that to do it better in the future, because it's an important skill to have. Offloading that is like a big waste of time, bro. I wish I had that clip though, because it was actually mind-blowing. This use case for AI, and I wish I could find it. Here it is. I found it. Oh my God.
Hard.
Okay. There's just no way. You can't, this is an unignorable feature. And I know there's some people that want AI to disappear and never come back, and it's all fake and it's going to blow up. First of all, I agree that financially, none of the things make sense right now. And there's going to be, I think there's going to be some kind of correction. But the truth is, the technology, like the internet, is here to stay in some way. And this is real. This is crazy.
Financial model that I need to convert into a new template that follows GAAP best practices. And it's difficult because there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Do you treat commissions as sales and marketing or COGS? It depends on the business. So Opus has the sort of intelligence required to go through the sheet and ask me the right questions. It asked me how we should break down different line items and if it should classify each of them. I said, yeah, go for it. And then asked me a couple more questions. And finally, it asked me a question about, here's a mapping of line items into which category and if I approved it. And it was actually right? So it said here, should it?
Dude, I mean, this type of work is it's just weeks of banging your head into it. And this did it like instantly.
Commissions as S&M. And I said, yeah, that's actually exactly the way I wanted it. So after clarifying the stuff that it needed to clarify, it presented to me a plan and I said, go for it. And here we'll watch Opus fill in a huge 3-statement model as it converts it using all natural Excel formulas. So I audit it as I go. I click into ranges to make sure that I like its outputs. And it proceeded to complete the income statement. From here, it filled in the balance sheet. It continued to fill out the cash flow statement, which would have taken me as a person forever. And then finally, it even made a balance sheet check to make sure that the balance sheet balances afterwards. This is Opus solving a task that for Sonnet which was the previous soda, extremely difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. So it's also not OpenAI, by the way. It's also not OpenAI. So, you know, there's just no doubt about it that there's going to be a change. It is going to have a material impact on business that's long-term. It's not a fake thing. But in terms of using it in human real life, I find that to be reprehensible, bro. I think it's crazy. I think it's like, it's such a self-defeating use case. You spoke about this already, but is Meta AI anywhere competitive? So when I did the thing earlier where I showed all the competitors encroaching on OpenAI, I didn't mention Meta for a reason. It's because they're not making any progress. No, they're not. They're not. They're throwing so much money. I mean, it's not like they have decent models, but they're not getting people to use them. And they have so much internal strife. They're like drastically overpaying for less results. They're lighting money on fire, bro. So, and yeah, people that have like the highest salaries I've ever seen are just quitting Meta, which means they must have a fucking crazy environment there. Did they still have the Scale AI guy? Yeah, he's still running their AI department. So yeah, they are open source, but they're worse than the Chinese open source. And they're not beating Google or OpenAI at the high end, like the consumer end. They don't even have anybody using it. They tried to do like a Sora competitor. Sora's already flopping, but Vibes was even worse. Nobody even started. Yeah, they've just been floundering. They've been floundering. So they need a code red moment of their own, I guess. But at the very least, Facebook makes money. Google makes money. OpenAI doesn't. So like if Facebook messes up and loses a few tens of billions, hundreds of billions, they can move on. They did it with the metaverse. They can move on. It's going to be bad. It'll be bad for their stock, but they can move on. But like, what can OpenAI do? They implode. They take down the fucking global economy. It's insane. Did you see this? What's this? A Japanese game studio is making applicants draw in front of them during interviews to prove they don't use generative AI. I saw that tech companies in China are spontaneously during the interview asking applicants to close their eyes before they answer a question. Like on this one, close your eyes. So they can't be reading off another monitor. Yeah, the evolution around this AI stuff is pretty crazy. Closed eye filter? Insane. Insane next level cat and mouse game. How do you feel about Amazon, AWS, yada, yada, yada? I don't know. It feels like Amazon is trying to bake AI into robotics for warehouses, and they're trying to bake it into the shopping experience. They're trying to make it into products, which might actually work. They're not trying to compete on like a general all-purpose consumer AI thing. That's not their area. So I don't know. I don't know about. I guess I'm not really a guy that would bet against Amazon most times because I think they're pretty good at executing. Why do I need AI for shopping? I mean, I guess you don't. You really don't. But I work with AWS. They're all in on Anthropic 100%. Well, there you go. Amazon AI tell me the price history was useful, but why didn't even need an app for that? That's not even really AI, right? That's just a list. that's like just pulling a couple of line items from a database and presenting them to you. Microsoft trying to put Copilot in everything. Yeah, they've been definitely trying to shoehorn it to get you to depend on it so they can maybe raise prices. What was the XLAI? That was Opus. Claude. How has Anthropic been able to build Claude and have be competitive with Gemini despite not having access to the same data set that Google Microsoft has? So this is a great question. I'm not going to say I'm a fucking expert on it, but it's like a business prioritization question rather than like a tech question. The truth is, my understanding is that Anthropic has fully focused on one mission: make the best product for coders within companies. That's their main goal. They added features and tweaks and tests and to make only this one thing as good as possible. And that's all they focus on. It's all they care about. It's like In-N-Out making one burger. Okay. And so because of that, they're slowly but steadily beating out the generalist model of OpenAI that's focusing on a million things at those customers. And those customers spend the most money. So Claude has already passed OpenAI among business clients. And though they spend the most. That's like a huge source of revenue that OpenAI could have had that they don't have. So yeah, that's what I would say. I'd say that they are just laser focused on a real business need and are crushing that. Whereas OpenAI is trying to do everything all at once and losing in all different directions. Despite having a big lead. I didn't say everywhere. I said everything.